Rock's famous barbecue in Prattville. Tonight's show is powered by Larry Puckett Chevrolet, by Durbin Auto Parts, Prattville Outdoors, Aero Pest Control, and by Buffalo Rock Pepsi. Now, let's go live to Rock's famous barbecue for tonight's Coach J.B. Wallace show.
Well, good evening, Prattville Lions fans. Welcome to the Coach J.B. Wallace show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. So glad to have you be a part of the show tonight. Those of you listening to the radio on Dixie Country 100.1, welcome into the show, and also those watching on Facebook Live. Thanks for being a part, and those watching later on too. We're so glad to have you. Again, my name is Chris Britton. I'm the host. So good to have the man the show's named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Listen, your Lions are playing inspired football right now on a bit of what they call a winning streak, I believe. Let's go straight to last week's ball game. Travel day down to Enterprise to play the Wildcats. Came out our way. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, well, you know, it was a little bit of a trip to get down there. Yeah. So we started our game day as far as the travel part about a little bit after noon, after 12 o'clock, and we went to Troy, to Charles Henderson Middle School, and we want to thank Charles Henderson Middle School for opening up their facility for us to use for pregame, and that's where we did our walkthroughs. We dressed there, we ate there and everything, and then we got on the bus from there and went to Enterprise and played the game. And man, it was great to play there. Man, they got great facilities. You know, so that is kind of a different feel when you walk in that facility. I mean, they do a real good job there.
It feels like a small college to me.
That's
really
exactly what it feels like when you walk in there. But man, we came in and we started fast like we intended to. We knew something on special teams was going to be real crucial that night. They tried a couple things and we did too. We had a nice kick return. But ultimately we got the win, and our guys played hard, and I was proud of that.
Yeah, jumped on early. 21 points in the first quarter, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We went and jumped in. That's the thing. We harp on starting fast, and we always want to start fast and get the result that we want. And we did that Friday, you know, with a solid offensive, defensive play, very solid special teams, and, you know, we kind of jumped ahead and were able to control the rest of the tempo of the game.
Now, I've heard you talk about, and you mentioned it just a minute ago, it's a big, long travel day, and so you leave a little early, get down to Charles Henderson, the middle school there. And I've heard you say, I believe, you want to be as normal as possible. You want to feel like, hey, we just got out of school at 3 in Prattville, and here's what we do. Or in Enterprise at 3, we're going to start doing, here's what we do, correct?
Right, and that's kind of how I plan it. You know, we want to set everything up to where when it's 3 o'clock, then it's pregame meal, it's everything. We're on a normal day at that time. So kind of how it equates at 3 o'clock in that situation is like going from Prattville to Millbrook to play. Yeah. Because we were going from Troy to Enterprise, so it's you know, not much of a difference. And that's kind of how we set it up. You want to try to get as normal as you can. I do. Yeah. I like to try to get our team in a normal situation as we can, you know, so we can go play.
Yeah. On the offensive side of the ball, who really stood out for us last week?
Did their job from the opening play. They had a great night of a performance there. Receiver one rushing. Donovan had 90 yards, and he busted one, and we got it called back for holding or something. So he would have went over 100 had that not happened. And then,
200-yard rushers in the game. That would have been nice.
And then Cam Rich had 88 yards rushing.
How about that?
So he got one called back. So we could have had 3 over 100 yards. So we had a real good night, you know, on the ground as well. You know, Cam Shanks continue to do, you know, what he does. He's a playmaker. KJ Blue played real well for us Friday night. And the thing I'm going to say about those receivers is what they do when the ball is not in their hands. They block, man. They really take pride in blocking, and that's where a lot of those runs bust.
What's their motto, by the way, about getting the ball?
No block, no rock. No block, no rock. And man, they go block. Mayan Callan caught a couple passes. Calvin Parker had a huge night, you know, caught the routine routes, and then we threw one to him, a fade in the end zone. He went up and made the caliber catch that he's capable of doing. I mean, that's the kind of player he can make those plays whenever you need him to. So had a huge night. Jack Studdard has been showing up every week, and I really think, you know, the best days are ahead of for him, for Jack Studdard, for all those guys. But you know, so huge night offensively for all those guys, and of course Cam Richardson did a good job dealing the ball out all night.
Let's look at the other side of the ball. On the defensive side, who were some big-time performers for you last week?
Well, for one, you got Luke Gordon, 14 tackles. That was his first career start, and he stepped in and owned it and did very well. I was proud of him for that. You know, Sam Payne, Tice Cottrey, Mello Smith,
Those guys just do what they do.
They do what they do. They play hard, and they practice hard, and they work hard. You see those guys in the weight room. It's no different than what you see on Friday.
Right.
They work just as hard in the weight room as you see on Friday nights. Secondary, we're very solid. Tyrell Cowling had a huge night. Big-time interception by Zay Parrish at the end of the game. Made an acrobatic play on their sideline where he jumped over a receiver to catch the ball in there. So, we had a very solid night. And then you had Brian Braggs and Scooter on the back end that did very well.
Who's Scooter now? Who's this?
That's Junior. That's my son. Proud of him.
That's right. Yeah. And he's made a position change. I don't know if people realize that. He's been a wide receiver for a long time. And then towards the end of last season, or was it over the summer?
It was over the summer.
Okay.
Towards the summer, we kind of transitioned him to safety, and he just fit in and
feeling at home,
doing what he's supposed to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Special teams, give us a little update on those guys from last week.
Well, Reed Montgomery had a lot of opportunities, fortunately, to kick extra points, so he's 7 for 7.
How about that?
So he did real good. Turner Walker, he does real well, as far as punting the ball and reposition. We had one block.
Keeping the field the way we want it.
Yeah, we had one block. We had a protection issue that we had to get fixed, and we had to spend all week fixing that and making sure that don't happen again.
A couple of opportunities, I guess we gave them to score a little bit, but then, man, we didn't check up. Just started.
Game over now. He can do that, and they came in and they scored a couple times to kind of, I think they cut it to 8 points at one point, and we went back and answered back and scored. Our offense did a great job striking when they gave us the opportunity.
That's right.
And and we played a complete game. I think, not real sure at halftime. I think it might have been 28 or 35 or so to 14 or whatever. But we had a very solid night overall and got it done. Really controlled the ball when we wanted to. And
just keep stepping up and bringing up big performances. Let's go back a few weeks, and Cam Richardson makes the switch from wide receiver to quarterback, and really doesn't come out of nowhere, but it kind of showed up like other teams like, wait, what's going on? Right. You knew what you had with Tice. You knew what you had with Carmelo. You knew what you had with Mario. I mean, some of those guys. But then a couple weeks later, you got somebody else step up, and, another player emerged. This week it was Luke Gordon. I mean, how does it make you feel as a coach when you talk about getting 1% better every day? You got guys that are doing that, and they're able to display that on the field on Friday night.
Man, it feels good, when your guys are making that step. And even through the week when they're taking that step to get better at what they're doing, run better routes and this. And I'll tell you what really feels good. I know when we call timeout sometimes and some of the guys will tell you what they see. They'll say, Coach, this is what we're getting. This might be there. Because they're on the field, they see it. They see the angles better than we do. And I saw the receivers come to the sideline at a timeout, and they were trying to talk Coach Moncrief into calling a certain play. And we end up listening to them, and we called it. But this play required them to block. The receivers are calling a play that required them to block. And Coach Moncrief, he called. He said, all right, let's look at it. Let's do it. Yeah. And they went out there, man. They executed the blocks on probably one of the most dominant defenders they had. They had a nickel back type kid. He was also number 7. And, man, we executed the block well, and we, almost picked up a first down on it. But it put us in position to get the first down. So they had confidence in what they were doing as well.
That is a selfless, team-first mindset, and I know you love that.
Oh, yeah, I love that for sure.
That's awesome. Well, fans, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I don't think I mentioned at the outset of the show, if you're out and about tonight, we are not at Rock's Barbecue. Now, go ahead and get dinner there if you'd like, but we are down at Stanley Jensen Stadium tonight on Kevin Turner Field. The junior high is actually taking on Auburn, who will be playing in a few weeks, but they're taking on the Auburn Middle School tonight. So if you're out and about, come join us here at Stanley Jensen Stadium. Fans, you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back just after this break.
Hey, are we trimming the same as usual?
Yeah.
How's your baby girl doing?
She's great, but with 3 kids.
Ribs rock. Like ribs rock. Like slap your daddy rock. Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Aero Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon termite colony elimination system. Aero Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still number one today. Call us 334-365-4610 and find out about mosquito control. Aero, your best shot for pest control.
Before you buy your next new vehicle, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices on pre-owned vehicles, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
I'm Brad at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. To find your next car, truck, or SUV, visit us at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices and...
All right, welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation, to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're so glad that you've joined us tonight. Those of you who are out and about listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1, come see us. We're at Stanley Jensen Stadium. We'd love for you to be a part of the show. We got some guests coming on tonight. We'd love to see you as well. Coach, this was brought to my attention today. I didn't realize this, but today is actually National Coaches Day in 1972. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying I noticed that it was, too. It's actually the first I've ever heard of this.
Yeah, me too. In 1972, President Richard Nixon signed a proclamation declaring that October 6th was National Coaches Day, citing that the coaches are similar to good friends who help the youth to acquire a positive attitude, which will be useful in their later time of life. I thought that was pretty neat. So what does that mean to you? It's National Coaches Day.
Well, I think definitely a day is needed.
Yeah.
When you look at the responsibilities that a coach take on. It's more than just what you see on Friday night or Saturday or youth league or whatever. It's more than what you see on game day. Is when you deal with young people all day, every day, and that's what your passion is, and then how you can, you basically build your community up, because those young people will be in the community. They'll be adults one day, and then
That's right.
Hopefully you can kind of take what their parents are teaching them at home and kind of take it and run with it as well, and they be great citizens someday. So
Yeah.
I think it's much needed. I mean, there's a lot to go into it. I wish we could have a day where we can discuss everything that goes into it. What you see on the field is the fun part. And
That's right.
That's the least amount of time that you actually coach on the field.
I think you said something about that last week. As a
Yes,
matter of
sir.
fact.
That's the fun part.
All right. Now, obviously, you're the top cat, the top Lion coach, and you got a lot of guys that work with you that do a lot of the things you're talking about right now. What does it mean to have such a special staff like what you've been able to bring together here at Prattville?
Well, I'll tell you this, before the season starts, we have a staff meeting where we plan the whole year out. And I kind of stole that idea from Coach Clark, because he always did it. And you kind of put the whole year out there and you plan the whole year. And I just want to thank Coach Glover for allowing us to use this place to have this meeting. But, we have that meeting and we put it out there, and everybody has a responsibility. And, as a head coach, I don't have to worry about it. I mean, I'm blessed with a good staff, and once we discuss it and everybody has their responsibilities, I mean, these guys, they do their jobs, and they love what they do, and they give back. And so I'm very appreciative of that, because it's like I mentioned before, it's a lot to go into it when you talk about academics, and sometimes there may be a little behavior here and there that you got to fix, and then you talk about a kid needing a ride or this, that, and the other, and then we have a program where we feed our kids through Oasis of Hope. So, somebody's got to go get the food and have it prepared. So we have coaches that do that, and, and they help manage the managers and stuff like that. And, man, it's a lot. It's a lot that go into it.
So you're telling me as a coach it's not a 9-to-5 job?
No, it's more like a 5 to 9
at night.
9 at night job. Yeah.
I know that's right. Oh, Coach, well, and thank you so much on behalf of the community. Thanks for what you do for our guys and what your staff does for the young men in our community. It's so important, and it's not forgotten. It's a big deal.
Well, thank you.
Coach, let's turn our attention to region football for just a little bit. I was looking over some of the standings today, and you look down at Region 1 in South Alabama, and they're just beating each other up every week. I mean, the teams are 3-3, 3-2, 2-3. It's a log jam at the top of that. When you look at our region, I mean, you got Auburn. They're kind of setting the tone so far for the season at 7-0, 5-0 in the region. All that matters really is that we're in the top 4 at the end of the season. What are you seeing in the region thus far this year?
Well, there were some shocking things going on in the region, especially with us. When we dropped the 2 early in the year,
right?
Kind of unexpected, but I mean that goes to show the importance of every game that you play.
And two you wish you could have back, though.
Yes, sir. We definitely wish.
It might be different.
But at that moment when we met as a team, we decided we're going to be where our feet are, and we're going to handle what's in front of us. And
That's right.
But there's a lot of things that are going to shake out in the next couple of weeks in our region. You have Enterprise and Dothan. That's going to be a huge game.
Big game tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's going to tell a little tale there. And then, we have JD and Lee. And then after that, we go to Auburn and Central. So, and then before we play –
with Auburn and Central, by the way, that's the top 2 teams in the region currently by record, 5-0 for Auburn and 4-1 for Central.
Right, and those 2 will play the week we play Lee.
Yeah.
So, that's going to shake a whole lot of stuff out.
Sure.
So after this week or next, we will have an idea exactly what we have to do or what the scenario is at that point.
Yeah, wasn't it Al Davis that said, just win, baby, just win?
Just win. If you where your feet are, you'd be fine.
That's right. That's right. Like you said, big one tomorrow night, Enterprise and Dothan. That's going to define some things, and we'll talk more about tomorrow night's game later. But, JD, they're 2-4, 1-3 in the region, but they're going to come ready to play Prattville tomorrow night. It's the homecoming game for the other team. They don't want to come lay an egg. So.
Exactly, and they always play us tough.
That's right.
That's something that's not going to be shocking, them coming in ready to play. And they have athletes. They're very capable, so we have to definitely be prepared for them.
That's right. Let's see. Really, region-wise, we got Auburn at 7-0, Central 5-2, Dothan 5-2, 3-2 in the region, Enterprise 3-3. So obviously something's got to give in that one. There's either going to be 1 or 2 3-loss teams. We're standing right now 4-2 on the year, 2-2 in the region. So let's win the next 2, and we're looking at 4-2 going into the. Arguably 2 of the tougher teams will play this season. Well, 2 of the top 3, let's say. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would say that. Record-wise anyway.
Exactly, yes.
And, hadn't really spent a lot of time watching them. But, just from what I'm seeing, they're playing good football. They typically do. We did our breakdown on them this summer, and they're dominant teams. They have that kind of chemistry and that kind of background to be so.
That's right. Tomorrow night is, I'm guessing our listeners know about this, but it's homecoming week. A lot of things have been going on this week. I know your players served at the elementary schools this morning. Yeah. Talk a little bit about what homecoming week and some things that are a little bit different that are going on, maybe the parade. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, we had the parade on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we had our rough practice. That's our tough practice on Tuesday, and then we came and participated in the homecoming parade, which was fun to see the kids out there and interact with the community and things like that. That was excellent. But we did that. It's been dress up week all week as well at the school. So
that's so fun.
Oh yeah. And so I'm finally seeing the time where I grew up, and they're trying to dress like we did. Not quite working out for them, but I guess that's a sign, I'm getting old or something when they're dressing up like your generation.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it right, but they tried.
Give them an E for effort.
Yeah, we'll give them that, but. Like you mentioned, we were involved with the Prattville Elementary School and Prattville Intermediate School, helping to greet their kids as they come to school in the morning. And that's the thing. We had 14 boys that were participating, had 7 at one, 7 at the other.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to make them do it.
Yeah.
I just mentioned, hey, look, we were asked to do this, and, man, they were lining up. Coach, put my name down,
Yeah.
That's one thing I can say about our guys. First, they're competitors, but second, man, they love kids.
Hey, and what time do they have to be there, by the way, to do what they volunteered for?
They had to be there at 7 o'clock.
How about that?
They had to be there at 7 o'clock and left there to go to football practice.
Yeah,
so
had to leave early because, believe it or not, we were running a little bit late getting there today. I was hoping to get there early and hang out with some of the guys. Mm-hmm. But and here's what it means to the kids, because I got an 8-year-old that's at the elementary school, and we're coming down the street in front of the intermediate school, and my littlest one, Holland, says, "Dad, did you hear that? What is that?" And I said, "Baby, that's the band." She said, "Where?" And she was on a swivel. There they were. She's like, "Dad, that's so cool."
Yeah.
And the players had to leave before we got there. But when we got to her school, there was still one little cheerleader. I guess she didn't have to be to school as early as everybody else. And she was just over there doing those pom-poms, and the little kids were just, "Oh my gosh, you're a hero!" It was so cool.
Oh yeah, it was fun. And even my daughter, she's a 6th grader, and she mentioned, of course, she sees the boys all the time.
Right.
And she was like, "Daddy, them football players was at the school." I said, "Were they behaving?" She said, "Yes, sir, they were behaving." So she gave me the rundown. I think they were giving her a hard time.
Rightfully so.
They were giving her.
So tomorrow night being the homecoming game, do you expect a big crowd, I'm assuming?
I'm expecting it. A lot of class reunions or classes coming back and to see where they graduated from, and there's a lot of people in the community that may have not come to all the games every week. They're coming back, tonight. I've got a lot of phone calls saying that they're going to come to the game. So I'm excited to see Prattville come out, the Lion family to come out and see the Bulls perform. It's going to be great, especially with the light show and everything we got going on with the stadium. It's going to be fun to be here.
Speaking of stadium, do you know any updates on that? I mean, they're going to start moving a little bit. Stuff's going to start happening here in the next few weeks.
Yeah. You know, they said as soon as we're done playing our last home game, things are going to start happening. So
gotcha.
I think they're going to move rather quickly on it.
Yeah, you should have new facility next year is the plan.
Right. And selfishly, I want to hold them up a little bit because it'd be nice to have a couple of home games here in the playoffs. So.
Right. Look, I like that.
Yeah, we'll hold them up for that.
There you go. Let's see. I guess we got a couple of minutes. We'll keep going for just a minute more here. Let's talk about all right, we've got some guys that are award winners. Let's go ahead and set that up. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about this. We've had step-up players already. We talked about that each week. It seems like there's been another guy that's just really – I mean, yeah, he's been playing great, but let's use Luke as an example this past week. In his first varsity start, well, he just goes out and gets 14 tackles.
Yes,
that's not normal.
That's not easy either. I mean, 14 tackles against a team like that's not easy. You got to have an idea what you're doing. And Luke, we'll talk about it when he's on the show, but he's a student.
Yeah.
He's a student of the game. I can remember last year, when we first got here and spending time with him, doing some extra work, just me and him. And, I could tell at that moment he cares about it. And I saw some things there just working with him individually. I saw some tools that he had that the average person just don't have. I mean, he's got some tools to be a good linebacker.
Yeah. I'm going to tell a story on you just because I can. I'm the host and I can do it.
That's right.
I can't remember if it was last summer or the summer before, but there was a Sunday afternoon, if I remember correctly, I was told by a dad of a player, maybe Luke's, I don't know, and said that they went up to lift and nobody was there. And so he had texted you or called you and said, hey, are we lifting today? And you said, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And so you dropped whatever you were doing. You came and you worked out with not 10 young men, not 5 young men, but one young man.
Right. Yeah, we did. We set that up. And, he said he wanted to get some work in. And I'm always available if a kid want to work, and so we got in there and we got work in.
Well, I'm glad that he wanted to work, but that's pretty cool that you're willing to do that too, man. That speaks of who you are and your character.
Hey, I think that's part of what we do as coaches.
Yes, sir.
You got to be available. Your availability is what makes you special if you're going to do this for a long time.
It's almost like we ought to have an official coach's day or something. I don't know.
Yeah, almost like that.
Like today. Well, fans, thank you for being a part of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show tonight. We're coming to you live from Stanley Jensen Stadium. If you're out and about, listen to us on Dixie Country 100.1. Come be a part of the show. We'd love to see you down here. There's a great ball game going on in the background. The 7th grade's playing now. 8th grade will be playing immediately after this ball game's over. Those of you watching us on Facebook, thanks for tuning in tonight or later on in the week. We're so glad to have you be a part of the show as well. You're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back just after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
Hun, those ribs ready?
No. Ribs, better with Pepsi.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch, showing thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make the winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
What's up, Prattville Lions Nation? Welcome to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're so thankful that you've chosen to tune in to the show tonight. Those of you listening to us on the radio, Dixie Country 100.1, and those watching us on Facebook Live or Facebook later on, we're so glad to have you guys out there, too. I haven't checked the comments yet. Leave us comments. Leave questions. Hard topics that Coach will have to stumble over to answer, right?
That's right.
No, we don't want any difficult questions. Don't do that. But we'd love to have you be part of the show in that way. Coach, it's time to recognize this week's Buffalo or Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week. I've already heard his name tonight mentioned. Why don't you talk about that award and about that player a little bit?
Well, first, thank you to Pepsi Buffalo Rock for sponsoring our award and sports clips as well. We appreciate everything you do for us. But this week, of course, is going to Calvin Parker. Not a lot of people call him Calvin, but I do. They have another name, which I'm sure you'll get to that in a
We're going to
while.
get to the bottom of that in just a little bit.
We'll get to the bottom of it, but played a great game. I think he had 4 or 5 catches, had a touchdown where he went up over a defender, made a play, and we had a fumble in which he showed extra effort running past people and dove on the ball to kind of, to clinch the game, really, because if we don't get that, it could be a different scenario. So he's definitely deserving of the player of the game, so very proud of him.
Calvin, congratulations, buddy. Yeah, man, good job. Let's hang on one second. Say it again.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. No, you're fine. You can't hear yourself, but we can. So, yeah, it got you that second time. So, man, what does it mean to you to get the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week, man? That's kind of a big deal.
Man, it means a lot. I've been wanting this for a long time.
Yeah?
For real. Yeah, I deserve it.
Now, how about that? I was worried about his self-confidence. I guess he's okay.
He ain't lacking any confidence.
Yeah. Walk us through that touchdown catch, man. Did you hear the Sports Center theme song play in your mind when you made it? What kind of route was it? What happened?
Well, last game, I had dropped the ball like that, so I had to come back and redeem myself.
Yeah.
So I already knew when they called the play, it was coming to me. So I went up and I got it. Okay.
Now, I know you, Cam Shanks, Cam Rich, y'all have been friends for life. I don't want to make fun of you, but I saw your mama Miss LaCarla put a picture of the 3 of y'all up the other day when y'all were like this tall. I laughed a little. I'm just be honest because, y'all are just little buddies.
Oh, Cam was ugly?
Both of them. But you look nice, man. You did. But what does that mean? You 3 are seniors now. You've been playing football, friends all your life, and now here you are playing your senior year at Prattville High School. What's that all about? How's that going?
That mean a lot.
Yeah.
Cam, both of them came a long way. We've been friends for a long time, so we know the chemistry with each other. We already know when we're going to get the ball, when we're not, how we're going to catch the ball and everything. So Cam Rich moving the quarterback, it was the easiest thing ever because we already been.
Chemistry was already there. You said it, yeah.
It was already there.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, fans, we're going to pause just 1 second for a station identification. We'll be right back.
WDXX Selma Prattville, home of Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Prattville and Puckett, a winning combination.
All right, we're back. All right, Calvin, now I want you to walk me through a couple more plays. So when that fumble that Coach talked about that you recovered, what was going through your mind?
So I was blocking. I was blocking all the way down the field, and then Cam just fumbled the ball, and then I had no choice but to jump on it because it was just rolling. So if I didn't dove on it, the game would have been different. We was down we was up 1 touchdown, so the game would have been different if I never dove on it.
Yeah, turnover can change the landscape of the game fast. Now, which Cam? Was Cam Rich that fumbled the ball?
Cam
so
Rich.
What you're telling me is he made a big old mess, but you went out there and cleaned it up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, earlier before you came on the show, Coach Wallace was telling us a little bit about you guys saw something as a receiver group in the defense. And he said, y'all said, Coach, if you try this play, we think it'll work. Now, he said it was a play where you don't run down the field and try to go make a big catch. It's where you and all the other receivers go and block. Walk us through your mindset with that a little bit.
We take a lot of pride in blocking every day. You know, it's a big thing in the run game. Get our running backs down the field and our receivers, like on screens, anything. Yeah, we take pride in blocking. So that's a big thing. I mean, I feel like we got the best blocking receiver core in the state right now.
Now, coaches, tell us, what's y'all's motto? Before you get the rock, what?
Before
your receiver motto. What do y'all say about blocking? Before you get the rock?
Before we get the rock.
No block, no rock.
Oh, yeah.
My bad, I butchered it, man.
No block, no rock.
There it is.
You don't get the rock if you don't block.
I made it difficult, man. That's on me. I apologize. All right, now, Coach, right before Calvin came on here. Well, no, you know what? Let me back up. Calvin, Coach said that not many people call you Calvin. He calls you Calvin. I call you Calvin. But what's the name that most people call you?
Beatty.
Beatty. I need to know. Is there a great story behind why you are called Beatty? Is there?
Well, my mom told me my brother just named me that. He was just calling me that one day when we was like little, and I had the name since then.
So it stuck.
Yeah, it stuck.
Now your brother's not really Kendarius. Who's he?
KD.
Well, he's Pooh.
Yeah, Pooh, regular, but everybody call him KD because he wanted him.
I got you. But you stuck with Beatty, I see.
Yeah, I stuck with Beatty.
Sounds like you got the raw end of that stick, man. That's not fair. No, I'm kidding. It's a great name. I love it. I love it. I get to announce basketball, and sometimes I say Beatty. You know, it's just fun. All right. Now, another thing, Coach. Before he sat down, and while we were in the commercial break, I believe I heard him say something to you, and he kept it. I don't think he wanted me to hear. He kind of leaned over towards you, and he said, "Is he going to ask me about my relationship status, Coach?"
He did that.
He did say that.
And, and I kind of comforted him and, told him that we are going to ask.
Yes, we are. So everybody in Facebook and everybody on the radio, Calvin, they want to know, what's your relationship status right now?
It's not for the public to know.
That's the best answer I've heard so far.
Possibly not.
Yeah. You may have just broken a heart out there. There's no telling.
Oh, no.
You may get a text later on saying, "Oh, you can't tell my name on the radio? What's up?" I mean, that may be coming your way.
Oh, no.
No, not going to happen?
No.
All right, Calvin. So you're getting ready for the game. You got your headphones on, your AirPods, whatever in. What are we listening to get you hyped up for the game?
NBA Youngboy.
Okay.
And probably Lil Durk song.
Okay.
And it's just, I don't know, just them two for real.
Okay. And here's a question I haven't asked before, but I'm curious. Is there any musical talent on this team?
Are
there any singers? Yeah, players who can sing, rap, play an instrument.
Oh, Camilo Jones, he can rap.
Okay. So, I mean, you think he might make it one day as a rapper?
Nah, he bet off football. I'm just playing.
Man, y'all used to have great team chemistry. Then Calvin just come in here and blew it all up.
Hey, Beatty gonna tell the truth, man.
I love it.
Beatty don't hold back.
I love it. All right. Why don't you talk about Calvin for another minute?
Well, it was fun watching him develop, from a year ago. To see where he started, and the first thing I noticed was the potential that he had, just this God-given ability that he has, and the tools that he's just blessed with, long rangey, just get the ball near him, he can go get it, and then to see him polish up as a route runner. And I can say this, I don't know if he was a dominant blocker last year, but now he's definitely getting it done this year, so now he can go get the ball and he can go block. I mean, he's been a complete player for us and been a leader for us and all that, and so I definitely appreciate him, kind of just taking the bull by the horns and being a leader for us on the offense.
That's the word I was about to ask. A bit of a leader for you?
Oh, yes, sir. He's a leader. You don't really hear him a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe he's whispering to the teammates or something to get him to do right, but he definitely does by actions. You watch him, he's going hard now.
Yeah.
He's going hard.
Cam Shanks is another one of those guys. They're men of few words, but they get the message across.
Or maybe men of quiet words.
Quiet words, there you go. They say in plenty, they just don't do it loud.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, anything else that we need to know about you, Calvin? I mean, before we let you get up and step away?
That's it for real.
Okay. Well, thank you for being a part of the show. Congratulations on the Pepsi Buffalo Rock. Hey, let's win the rest of the games this year. How about it? Make a run in the playoffs. You down for that?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Let's meet again at the end of the season, the championship game. I'd love it.
Yes, sir.
That'd be fun. All right. Thanks, Calvin. All right, well, fans, thank you again so much for being a part of the J.B. Wallace Show tonight. If you're out and about, we are coming to you live from Stanley Jensen Stadium on Kevin Turner Field. We'd love for you to be a part of the show. Those of you watching on Facebook, thanks for being a part of the show as well. We're so glad to have you live, but then also later on throughout the week. Love you guys tuning in and being a part of the show. Again, you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Aero Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon termite colony elimination system. Aero Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us 334-365-4610 and find out about mosquito control. Aero, your best shot for pest control.
Before you buy your next new vehicle, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices on pre-owned vehicles, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
I'm Brad at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. To find your next car, truck, or SUV, visit us at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
For the best prices and huge inventory, visit LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Be sure to like our Larry Puckett Chevrolet Facebook page. Who knows, you could be our next winner.
Save time and save money at LarryPuckettChevrolet.com.
Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish. Give me some U.S. farm-raised catfish.
I only use U.S. farm-raised catfish.
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
They do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Great selection of SUVs you got in stock right now.
Ellis, I'll tell you what, it's probably the most we've had in 2 years. I've got over 30 full-size, mid-size, and small SUVs out here. Great selection to choose from.
It's all right here at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, Cobbsport Road in Prattville. Just go to LarryPuckett.com. Larry Puckett, the low-price leader.
Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation, to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I am your host, Chris Britton. We're so glad that you tuned in tonight, those of you listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1 and those of you watching us on Facebook as well. Coach, we talked a lot about, we realized that today is National Coaches Day.
Right.
And fitting, you've got one of your assistant coaches, part of your staff with us tonight. Why don't you introduce us to the next fellow on the show?
Yeah, on the show tonight, we have Coach Myers. Coach Myers coaches our offensive line for us. So we're glad to have him aboard and him and his wife. His beautiful little girl. You see him over by the fence. So we're glad they've joined the Lion family.
That's right. Coach, catch us up a little bit on your coaching history.
So just a little bit about that is I started at West Alabama. I played there in 2012 and 13.
Yeah.
And then started as a student assistant in 2014 and became a graduate assistant, restricted earnings, and then in July of 2018, they named me the O-line coach, so I was the O-line coach there for 4 years.
Okay.
And then got the opportunity to get my wife and daughter closer to family and, decided to make that switch. It's been good.
Yeah. Where's home to you originally? I remember you told me a little bit
Washington
about
State, so Vancouver, Washington, up there in the upper left.
You can't get there from here.
That's a 38-hour drive.
Woo! Yeah, well, I'd rather fly, right?
Yeah, no question. That's still an all-day thing.
I hear you. Well, you know what? Talk a little bit about, you coach on the college level, now at the high school level, a lot of similarities, a lot of differences. Talk about that transition.
The biggest thing is college, it's all ball all day.
Yeah.
And, I heard Coach Wallace talking earlier about, of course we track academics in college, but,
certainly.
Being a teacher, right?
Right.
You have that part of your job that you have to fulfill, and then – then it's the extra hours. So what we would be able to do during the day, with game plan wise and film, all that good stuff, that's what we have to do after school.
Right.
And on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so, that's something that to me is not a big deal because I love and I enjoy ball.
Sure.
It's falling in love with the rest of it, what I mean, which is coming along nicely. Gladly, I'm a physical education teacher.
Yeah.
So, that's I get to come to school dressed less than this.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I hear you. And then, so you played O-line, coach O-line. I know one of the game day T-shirt for your guys says 1% on the back of that. Want to get 1% better. Talk to the improvement or the progress of your position group on those O-linemen.
The biggest thing is seeing those guys come together. We talk about being 5 as one.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be 5 guys doing the same thing. And I tell them sometimes, hey, even if we're all doing the wrong thing, but we're doing it the same way, it could still end up being right. Obviously we harp on, the communication and the execution of what we're doing, being able to ID the front. And, because like tomorrow night, they're going to jump into a few different fronts.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to apply our rules to that front and execute it. And so just seeing those guys grow mentally is the biggest thing. And then obviously they're a tight-knit group. I took over a group that, holds each other accountable.
That's great.
And they care about the product that they put on the field.
Yeah.
And so that was never a thing that I had to worry about. I don't have to coach effort a whole lot. Obviously, there's a few times where things are dragging and you got to get after them. But for the most part, those guys are coming to work and ready to go after school.
That's fantastic. I want you to share some names with us because, you don't hear pass by, catch by. You hear that a lot. You don't hear, the block on the O-line was, that guy, he doesn't get any love. So tell us who those guys are that get missed sometimes, at least hearing their name called.
So starting it from the left to the right,
sure.
So our starting left tackle is Leighton Taggart.
Okay.
Good kid. He's honestly, a very, very talented and able kid. And then going to the left guard, you got Gabe Adams. He's another mammoth of a human.
Yeah.
And he's coming along, starting to, mature in his ways of not, just toning his body up and, doing things like that. And then we got Garrett Wildman, who's, also our long snapper. And so those snaps, with what we do, it needs to be snap location is key.
Sure. Arguably, and he would be the one that argues he has the best hair on the team.
There's no question.
I think it's Lansdale, honestly.
Lansdale, him, Josh on the defensive line.
Yeah.
He's got a nice little mullet going. So
back to you guys. When you said Wildman,
I used to have some of that myself, and then it started to get pushed back and get a little thin up top, so I had to cut that. Our right guard right now is Garrett Mitchell, and he's kind of a swing guy for us. He's been able to play all 3 positions since I've been here. He's played at the right tackle spot. He's played both guard spots. He's played the center position, but right now he's finding his groove at that right guard spot.
Awesome.
And then Clayton Bowrider is our right tackle. Big, long, athletic, rangy kid. Really starting to fall in love with it. He wanted to be a tight end because he's really got that type of body.
Yeah.
But he's starting to figure out that being in the trenches is fun. It's nasty, and he's starting to get some bite to him, which is nice.
That's awesome. All right. Who's the biggest dog up there on the line for you? Tough to say. It can be a tie.
It depends on the day. You know what I mean? It depends on the day. I would say the leader of that group vocally right now is Garrett Mitchell, the right guard. And he's only a junior, so it'd be good to get those guys back. That whole group, besides Gabe, will be back next year.
I was going to say, you got a little depth behind them, too. You got a few more guys, don't you?
We got Brian Moody,
yeah.
Ivan Guerrero. Those guys are rotational guys for us, and they play a big part in what we do. And those younger guys that are behind them are getting better. You know what I mean? That's why we play those JV games on Mondays. Get those guys in there and get them quality game reps and make sure that those guys are understanding the standard that we play with and obviously being able to execute what we do as well.
Yeah. Well, all right, I'm going to shift gears from football. I can't help but notice there's 2 beautiful ladies watching you over here. One's itty-bitty and one's not, so one's a grown-up. Talk about those 2 ladies and how important they are.
Well, that's my wife, Allison, and we met at West Alabama when I first got down there. And then Paxton Ray over there is little baby girl. She will be 1 year old at the end of November.
Ooh, hang on.
And, those 2 are, she keeps the house together. You know what I mean? She's the rock of the family and takes care of her while I'm working late nights. And, I don't know if she fully knew what she signed up for back in 2014, but she's grown accustomed to it since.
There you go.
And she does a great job. You know, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without her.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Coach, thank you for your time tonight and being a part of the show. Coach, I'm going to grab a couple of guys while I am. Talk a little bit about Coach Myers, but also about the O-line and their importance and what they've got going on in the whole system.
Well, I tell you, when I was doing research and we were looking for an O-line coach, heard a whole bunch of great things about Coach Myers. I heard about his intensity. I heard about, his intelligence and all that kind of stuff, and, that he understood football, he knew football. And so I knew, day one that he was the guy we wanted to bring here to Prattville. And then not to mention, he's from West Alabama. That's my home, too. So we got that in common. So I knew that was a no-brainer right there. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I'm back. So, all right, Coach Myers, thank you. Now, we talked about the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week earlier. We didn't go over the other awards. Why don't you talk a little bit about those? And usually we write them down. I caught you off guard.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. We'll start Student of the Week, which we're going to announce that. Hadn't been announced yet, but I'll go ahead and put it out there. For the Varsity Student of the Week will be Donovan Arrington.
Okay.
You probably noticed that name running the ball for us.
Yeah,
a little
big
bit,
boy.
But he's Student of the Week this week. And for the freshman is Tristan Black. All right, so he'll be the Student of the Week for the freshman. Our Players of the Week, offensively and defensively, we have KJ Blue, which you see him behind here, and then you have Luke Gordon. Our Special Teams Player of the Week was Reed Montgomery. And then we also have Money Team Player of the Week, and which, I love to see those guys emerge every week. But, you have Hudson and Andrea-Dacus.
There you go.
It's
a
mouthful. Getting better at that. I'm getting better. Hudson Andrea-Dacus.
Yeah.
And offensively, again, is Jordan Obanigba.
I gotcha.
So he's been doing well. Every week he's bringing it. Every week getting better, and he's starting to show up in the JV games as
And
well.
some of those sponsors. I know Soul Revival.
Soul Revival. We have Subway. We have Milo's. We have Fox's Pizza, which they're going to sponsor our Special Team Player of the Week award this week. And I'm thankful to get Fox's Pizza on board as well, along with Milo's. So
that's
those
awesome.
are our sponsors.
Yeah. All right, so you mentioned a couple of guys that are with us on the show tonight. KJ Blue, he's got the microphone. So, KJ, we're going to talk to you first, okay? KJ, what grade are you in school this year?
The 10th grade.
10th grade. So, sophomore, doing big things on offense, Coach. Talk about him a little bit.
Man, KJ is a worker. He's a ball player.
Yeah.
That's one thing. It just comes natural to him, and then he works hard, so that's always a good thing that goes with it. Great character.
Yeah.
You can count on him to do the right thing and all that kind of stuff. So for him to come up and play on this level as a 10th grader, that tells you that he's an attention to detail kind of guy. So, he's got some good ball ahead of him. If we keep focused and all that kind of stuff, he's going to have some great games ahead of him.
That's awesome. KJ, who's the best wide receiver over there on the sideline? Bring that mic on up. There you go.
I'll probably say Shanks.
Okay. I was just checking to see if you were going to say it was KJ. I think
probably not this year, but probably next year.
Come on, I hear you. All right. Favorite job as a receiver? You like catching passes, blocking, Ty? What's your favorite?
I'd say blocking.
Okay.
So my other teammates can make more plays and stuff like that.
It's almost like you're helping teach these guys to be selfless, Coach. I love it.
Hey, that's one thing that they're doing now. they're blocking the tails off.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. KJ, thank you. Pass the mic on over to this guy. All right, Luke Gordon had a pretty big effort. Recognized as the 7A AHSAA, one of the 2 players of the week that they do, right, Coach?
Mm-hmm. That's right. And Luke Gordon, 14 tackles on Friday. First time starting in high school. It's his first career start, and he showed up 14 tackles. Had a great week of practice, might I add. And that is what earned him the starting opportunity, and he took it and made the most of it.
So, Luke, let's get inside your mind a little bit. Coach comes and say, hey, you're starting this week, or Coach Lee, whoever told you. How'd that feel?
It was a great feeling, but we've been putting a game plan in.
Yeah.
And so it really wasn't – I wasn't nervous. We were just ready to go out there and dominate.
I hear you. And so what was your favorite thing about the other night? I mean, was it getting tackles, sack, or, group effort? Talk about that a little bit.
My favorite thing is when we see the offense line up and we know what they're doing before they even snap the ball. And, it's always great when we know what they're doing and we go hit it. And we look at each other and we all shake our heads because we know, we knew it was coming before it even happened.
That's awesome. All right, Coach, talk a little bit more about these 2 guys. We got about a minute or so.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned before, Luke is a guy attention to detail. He works hard.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind doing the extra things. I can remember a couple sessions we had together where he was coming in and just working on himself, getting better, so he can get the opportunity that he got last week and make the most of it. So this isn't something that just happened overnight for this young man. It's something that he worked for a couple of years now.
We talked about this tonight, but I love this thing. I had somebody come up and ask me this week, a couple of weeks ago, who's that quarterback? Where did he come from? Now it was, who's that linebacker? Where did he come from? Who's the next guy that people will be asking, who is he? Where did he come from?
You never know. We got some guys that can grow from week to week and they get the opportunity to run with it.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. All right, well, fans, we're going to go to a break in just a moment. We want to thank you for listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show, those of you listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1. We will be back at Rock's Famous Barbecue next week, so if you're out and about, go eat dinner there, come down here to the game, do both, whatever. Coach's Q actually has it kind of smelling good down here at the stadium tonight. So anyway, well, fans, you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back just after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
Hun, those ribs ready?
No. Ribs, better with Pepsi.
It's a long pass down the amazing arm.
All right, Prattville Lions fans, welcome back to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're so glad that you tuned in tonight. Coach, we're joined by a stranger to the show, but no stranger to Auburn fans, at least. We got a guy, Stephen Clark, played a little football, punted for Auburn. But talk a little bit about Stephen and FCA and what that means to your program and to you.
Well, I tell you, we mentioned earlier what makes, coaching, important. I said their availability, and that's one thing about Stephen. Always available, always making himself available for coaches and our kids,
yeah.
and always, giving them the opportunity that if they need someone to talk to or they have to, speak to someone, he can speak to them, and he's sharing a word with us always,
yeah.
and words of encouragement and all that. And man, we just appreciate everything he does and FCA does for our program.
That's awesome. Now, Stephen, I know you won a national championship while at Auburn, but welcome to the big time. You're on the Coach J.B. Wallace Show tonight.
It's truly an honor. Thank you so much for having me, Coach.
Man, talk a little bit about FCA and what your role is in your heart for the community.
Yeah, no, it's really been a blessing. I never thought I'd be doing it, but, after kind of all those accolades at Auburn, it's pretty crazy that, there's a difference between significance and success. And despite all this success, if you don't have significance, it's like you find that void in your heart.
Sure.
And it's like I think that can only be found in Christ. And just to talk about this game of life that,
yeah.
We're all playing. And just to be able to kind of leverage the platform to, talk about this bigger game. And, it's an honor to be able to be kind of somebody that can be around, the program. And I appreciate the coaches that we all work with, the coach, especially Coach Wallace here at Prattville, just to be able to come and just be somebody that can kind of love on these guys.
That's awesome. And do stuff like bring popsicles, things like that.
Oh, yeah. It seems like they always find the right time to do that, for sure.
Now, Stephen, I think there's something coming up where the community can get involved and kind of help you out. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's actually a blessing. My friend Chris Aulette over at Long Lewis Ford, that he was asking me, like, man, why don't y'all do a golf tournament? And I was like, man, because I ain't got time. So he actually they kind of took it on themselves to put on the Long Lewis Open. It's going to be November 4th. But if anybody enjoys playing a little golf or just coming out supporting, they got sponsorships available and all those sorts of things that
Where do you go to sign up? What website?
Yeah, if you just Google Long Lewis Open, I actually don't have the actual web address memorized, but that'd be the place to go. And you know, if anybody wants to reach out to, I know either of us would be happy to forward that info.
Yeah, certainly. Stephen, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man. God bless you.
Appreciate you, Chris, and all you do. And Coach Wallace, it's a blessing.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach. Well, we've got a homecoming ball game tomorrow night. Got a team from Montgomery coming up across the river. You know they're going to give you their best effort. Nobody wants to be that homecoming opponent. Talk to us about tomorrow night's game a little bit.
Well, you know, just as a region opponent, so that tells you the importance of the game. You know, that's it's a region game that we got to win. We got to take care of business. But you know, they have a bunch of talented athletes, both sides of the ball that we discussed earlier. And you know, just knowing where they are and knowing how to handle them is going to be key tomorrow, because we've gotten a lot of different looks from them. So you know, you're kind of playing in the dark. You know, kind of this week.
That's right. Offensive side of the ball, who have you seen on tape? Who stands out to you?
There's a number 2 that they have that plays running back, plays receiver, plays a little quarterback. He's kind of does everything for him offensively, and he's one that we definitely need to know where he is. A very elusive athlete, can run. You look at him on film, and Opelika has a lot of team speed, and when you see him run away from Opelika and things like that, yeah, so he can move.
Yeah. Defensive side of the ball.
Defensively, you know, linebackers are very solid linebackers, and they have some athletes in the secondary. So, you know, we got to get them in some situations where they're not comfortable. We can take advantage of the coverage that they're in.
Gotcha. Special teams, anybody that jumps out
at you?
You
special teams, they're very average, very solid on special teams. Nobody really jumps out, but, you know, if you kick it to number 2, you're going to have a problem. You know, he's a kick returner, kickoff, and punt. So, you know, when you kick it to him, you got to make sure you got lane integrity, and you can get there and corral him and web him up, make a play on him.
Gotcha. Coach, we got about a minute left, and we kind of referenced it earlier, but homecoming ball game, what does it mean to have a big crowd up here tomorrow night? The fans are listening thinking, I may come, I may not come. Why should they come?
You got to come. You know, here at Stanley Stadium on Friday night is the place to be. And for one, you know, just a great community to be a part of, and come out and show these guys support, man. Our guys, you know, they work hard. And they work hard. For one, they love Prattville. They love Prattville football. And, you know, they do it because they have family in the community, and they want, you know, something that everyone can be proud of. So definitely come be a part of it.
And a part of it is that legacy of Prattville students and fans of the past. They want to live up to that, your guys today. That's key, too. That's important.
To be Prattville.
Yeah. Parting shot, Coach, as far as coming in tomorrow night, anything else you need to say about that? We got 30 seconds.
Not only do we need you to come, we need you to come and be loud. You know, we want this place rocking. You know, just the intensity that we have on the field, we need it in the stands.
That's right. And fans, if you think about it, there's only a couple of guaranteed times left to watch ball games in the stadium as we know it. So come on out. Well, fans, you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Hey Coach is up next. We'll see you next week.
That was pretty good. Thank you.
Hi,
See
man.
you, Chris. Chris and Stacy.
Larry Puckett,
Yes, sir.
All right.
Durbin Auto Parts, Rock's Famous Barbecue, Prattville Outdoors, Aero Pest Control, and by Buffalo